first, if you're new, thanks for watching. If you've been following along, you know that I have another project in development. I'm just going to call that Project Candor for now. I haven't given an update on that devlog in a while. Just know that I'm still working on it, and there should be an update out soon. Alright, now that that's out of the way, back to what this video is about. This game I made in about 20 hours. So this is more of it's a fully functional game, but I'm calling it a prototype because it still needs some polish. So level set your expectations a little bit. But yeah, here's what I did. So the first thing I did was think of an idea. When I'm trying to find an idea for a game, what I like to do is take a concept that we know works or a genre that we already know has been successful, and then remove or change a major part of that genre and see where that takes me. So for example, for Project Candor, I wanted to take an infinite runner and make it finite. For this game, I decided to take asteroids, you know, the game where you're a little spaceship and you're shooting trying to avoid asteroids, and make it stationary. And that idea evolved into basically a planetary defense game. You have a mech and you have a planet that you're trying to defend from the asteroids that are eventually going to collide with your planet. So the next thing I had to do was define success and failure, because that's how games work. Success is successfully fending off as many waves of asteroids as you can, and failure is allowing the planet to get hit with too many asteroids. Then I had to plan it. I had to budget out the amount of time that I wanted to spend on this, so I did a little bit of research. I found that on average a game like this can be made in 6 hours, but well, since it's the first time I'm doing this and I'm doing it by myself, I doubled that. So I ended up with 12 hours, and I went ahead and bumped it up to 15 hours. Just in case I ran into any major issues, which I did, which is why it took 20 hours. After I had a plan, I decided to start picking assets. Assets means can be anything from sounds to animations to characters and environment. So if you can make assets, it's good to just go ahead and make them, save yourself a few bucks, but I can't, so I just went to the asset store, shopped around for a little bit, found some pretty good assets that I'm highly likely to use again on another project. Once I had all the assets picked out, I just imported them into my workspace and started getting my animations working first. The reason why I work with animations first is because I'm less likely to change those later on in the project. When it comes down to environment and building the world, that can change regularly. I especially change my environment to fit my animations and character assets frequently. So yeah, start with the animations. Once I had my animations in, I then started to build the actual functionality. For this game, it was fairly simple. I just needed to shoot projectiles in the direction that is pressed, as well as spawn asteroids, and then account for all the possible collisions that could happen. Now that I have my functionality built and my assets working, the last thing I needed to do was create a world for these pieces to be placed in. My world is fairly easy, just needed a planet and a starry background, and we were good to go. And finally, I just added the audio, some of which I made up, some of which I just used stock things that are included in Unreal Engine, and then I built the menus, and this is how the game turned out. Alright, so as you can see, as the game launches, we have a start screen. The character is already following the mouse around, and if I click anywhere, it begins firing. And so once you hit start, we get a score notification pop up, and the first wave begins. And as you shoot at the asteroids, they break into smaller pieces, fly into different directions. I even added different, like more of a assault rifle for rapid fire into this. And of course there's just the pistol, and of course if we let too many asteroids collide with the planet, we should get an explosion and the game over screen. So yeah, that's the game that I made. So why do a quick project like this? Well, basically, when you're an independent games developer, you need to be, you know a little bit about everything that's required to make a game. When I started working on this longer project, I spent a lot of time working on very specific areas, and I just needed a quick refresher on some other things. As you can see, this was fairly simple, did not take very long to make, and as a result, I learned a couple of things that I'll be using in the development of Project Candor. So yeah, this was fun. If you want me to do more things like this, please let me know. Thanks for watching, and I hope you come back for more.